Most real estate agents struggle to fill their pipelines with quality leads, which leaves you working longer hours, making more cold calls, attending more fruitless networking events, and paying more for unproductive mailers. This leads to stress, pressure, and burnout. But if we look to other professions, we see that they don't struggle to fill their calendars. They've already solved this problem. In fact, one profession familiar to all of you stands out far above the rest for how effectively it attacks the problem. What this profession does not only eliminates the need to cold call, but actually dismantles the entire justification for why cold calls would ever be needed in the first place. If learning this sounds interesting to you, like this video and subscribe to our channel. Hey, it's Russ from the Neon Bros, where we use financial literacy to help real estate agents sell more houses. I've never worked as a real estate agent, but as a real estate investor, I have worked with many agents and can tell you how your efforts are perceived by a customer, because I am a customer, and I view your marketing from the perspective of an outsider. By making those occasional just checking in phone calls, sending Christmas cards in December and calendars in January, it appears you're using expensive gimmicks to substitute for your lack of a real relationship with your former clients. Agents seem to be at a loss as to what to do once the sale has closed. Based on my conversations, many believe that they are pestering their former clients if they call because they feel they are intruding on their clients' lives without permission. The awkwardness of these calls destroys their love of the career. But what time-tested approach do doctors, accountants, dentists, financial planners, and insurance agents all do to fill their calendars and earn more money that most real estate agents don't? It's very simple. They set follow-up appointments. They set the expectation that they are professionals who will be involved in their clients' lives and that their clients will continually do business with them. That's it. I've never had a real estate agent do that for me. Think how different that is from what you're probably doing. The assumption they create is that the follow-up appointment is for the benefit of the client. In case of a doctor, its purpose is to monitor the patient's health. The doctor did something presumably to improve the patient's health, and she simply wants to monitor whether it is or is not working. But make no mistake, it's also how the doctor keeps her own calendar full too. Real estate agents, as a matter of practice, let clients walk out the door after closing, never to be seen or heard from again. A generation ago, we went to a doctor when something hurt us. When we felt better, we stopped going until something hurt us again. The medical industry created the annual physical exam. Perhaps it was the influence of insurance's willingness to pay for it, but it normalized going to the doctor every year, even when we felt fine, under the notion that the doctor was, quote, monitoring our health. I understand that doctors get paid by insurance companies, or perhaps even the patient, for every single visit, and you don't. But eventually, the appointments you do set will likely lead to compensation far larger than those that doctors receive from insurance companies. And if you have no appointments, you'll absolutely not get paid. So even if not every appointment leads to commissions, you're still better off setting them than not setting them. What if you adopted the follow-up strategy that your doctor uses? Since doctors' pipelines fill up quickly by employing this strategy, why wouldn't yours? The question you're probably asking is, since this is not yet standard practice for real estate agents, how do I present it so that clients say yes to my offer? For doctors, it's easy. The assumption is that the patient will meet again to maintain their good health. How can you present a follow-up as advantageous to your clients? You can do something similar to a doctor by, quote-unquote, monitoring their investment. For instance, at the closing table, you can say something like, Mr. and Mrs. Client, even though you bought this house to live in, don't be surprised if it turns out to be the best investment you ever made. As part of my ongoing services to all my clients, I always set an annual follow-up appointment each year after closing to monitor the progress of that investment that I helped you buy. That way, we can track its equity growth, principal paydown, and overall appreciation to make sure you're on course to become a wealthy real estate mogul. How does that sound? Now, naturally, that last part is a joke, which you can customize as you see fit, but it lets them know that this is actually an investment that can put them on a really good path. It links the home they bought to live in to an investment that requires monitoring, just as any investment does. Assume they believe real estate is a good investment and will want more of it as you demonstrate its benefits in the following years. To assume the opposite is like a dentist putting in a patient's filling and then never following up again because he assumes the patient will never have another dental need. Obviously, that's silly, but that's what most real estate agents do. Using a follow-up appointment is a better strategy. If they agree to the appointment, they're saying that they are open to the future discussions with you on the subject of real estate investing. At the beginning of this video, I described a professional in your life whose efficiency using this strategy is head and shoulders above the rest. That professional is actually your dentist because he sets his follow-up appointments much more frequently at only 6-month increments. He may be no more skilled at this strategy than your doctor, but because insurance permits dental cleanings every 6 months, his appointments are set for every 6 months. You can steal from your dentist and do the same. Just as your doctor and your dentist both do, the additional key to making this approach work efficiently is to set the appointments before the client even leaves the closing table. That way, you don't have to track them down in 6 months. Use appointment reminder cards and follow-up email reminders as the date gets closer. After the closing, but before the 6-month meeting takes place, is a perfect time to employ my service, Opportunities Everywhere. While of course it's not required, it can improve your results by answering their most common questions, concerns, and fears about real estate investing. They'll arrive at the meeting speaking the language of investing, so you don't have to spend the time teaching them. To learn more, go to Opportunities Everywhere. One of the main benefits of the 6-month follow-up is that it establishes a legitimate, ongoing relationship with that client. It doesn't allow the relationship to go cold and stale, leaving you feeling that you have to revive it with Christmas cards and calendars. Once they set that appointment, you already have their permission to talk to them in 6 months. It also gives every future call with that client a specific purpose that they've already committed to, thereby making it a warm call. Then, anytime they have a question about real estate or might be interested in trying an investment out for the first time, of course you will be the person that they call. Maintaining genuine relationships with your clients shatters the entire reason for ever having to cold call. In fact, you can't cold call someone you have a genuine relationship with. It's impossible. If you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe to our channel. Finally, you may now be wondering, what do I talk about at the meeting? The short answer is anything that moves them closer to agreeing that investing in real estate makes sense for them, assuming that it actually does. Naturally, you don't want to pressure someone for whom it's not appropriate. But if it were me, I would come to the meeting prepared with the current market value of their home so that you could calculate for them what their new equity is compared to what their starting equity was. That's the bare minimum that you need, as it will have likely grown. However, if before the meeting you ask them to provide an updated version of some of the documents they've provided prior to closing, such as recent bank, brokerage, and retirement account statements, that could prove invaluable to see if their home is performing better than their other investments. Or, if the other assets are very large compared to the amount of equity they have in their home, you can actually raise the point that perhaps the real estate is underrepresented in their portfolio and that they should consider buying more. There's really no exact benchmark to use for how much real estate is a well-balanced portfolio, but some advisors say anywhere from 5 to 15% should be in assets unrelated to stocks and bonds. However, very wealthy real estate investors have the bulk of their wealth in real estate, and they don't seem too concerned. So it's just a matter of how much makes your client comfortable. More than likely, their comfort won't be at its peak after only 6 months, but that's what a pipeline is all about, having a steady flow of buyers lined up whenever they're ready. The main point of the review is to maintain a warm relationship with your clients, never letting it cool down again, and ensuring they understand how the wealth that's being accumulated inside the home you sold them can be used to fund additional properties whenever they are ready. Successful real estate agents know one thing: you're only as strong as your pipeline, but keeping it full shouldn't feel like a grind. Cold calls, awkward networking events, and endless mailers might get your name out there, but they drain your time, energy, and enthusiasm. That's why we built Opportunities Everywhere, a smarter, easier way to attract clients you actually enjoy working with. Instead of chasing leads, our system creates them for you. Using a library of short, engaging 10-minute videos, it quietly teaches everyday people how and why to invest in residential real estate. Then, when they're ready to act, they come straight to you. The best part? These aren't just one-time buyers. They're future investors you've shaped from the start, clients who understand your approach, trust your guidance, and keep coming back for their next purchase. If you're ready to fill your pipeline with the kind of clients you've always wanted, visit opportunitieseverywhere.com to learn how. So, what do you all think of this strategy? Would a follow-up real estate review generate business for you the way it does for financial planners, accountants, insurance agents, dentists, and doctors? Isn't this a lot easier and more comfortable than cold calling? Let me know in the comments section down below. Until next time, I'm Russ from the Neon Bros, helping you and your clients achieve real estate success.